Hi, my name's Elizabeth Kramer, and I want to share a story about a terrible experience I had. When I was 17 years old, at the time I was living with my parents. One summer morning, I woke up and got ready to go for the day. There was a park across the street from where my parents live, so I decided to go there. When I arrived there, I began to run laps around the football field, and I continued running for a long time, probably around 2 miles. After I was done, I felt really good about myself and was ready to go back home. So I started to walk and was about to cross the street. And that's when I saw my dad sitting outside. He was anticipating my arrival, and as he did so, I saw him people watching and just kind of watching the cars go by. He asked me if I wouldn't mind moving his car to the front of the house. I said, sure, no problem. Got the keys, walked to the back, got in the car, shut the door, started it, put it into drive, and began to go. Really, I should have just took it around front real quick, but you have to understand, I was an eager new teenage driver and wanted to go cruising. So I began to drive, and I pulled up and hit 2 red lights. On the second one, I decided to take a right turn when suddenly I hit a parked car. I was so nervous. I didn't know what to do. I was so scared my father was going to bail me out. So I put the car quickly into reverse, but did not see another car behind me, and hit a woman. She began to profusely yell at me. I didn't know what to do, but thankfully, the woman who I'd hit just took off. So I pulled over to the side of the road and got out. I began to check, making sure there was no damage on my father's car, and to my relief, there was none. So I got back in, decided to take off again, when suddenly I saw a cop turn on his siren behind me. I thought to myself, oh my God, what do I do? I've never had to deal with a police officer before. And I was really confused too, as if he had seen the car crash or not. So I pulled over again, and he got out, and he began to talk to me. I tried to signal to him that I'm deaf and that I couldn't understand him, and he kind of signaled back that he needed to see my license. I tried to point and signal to him that I had forgot it at home, but it was just around the corner. So the police officer just told me he would follow me home, and I was really worried he would put his sirens on, but thankfully, to my relief, he turned them off, because I would have been so embarrassed, people staring at me all the way home with the sirens roaring and the lights flashing. So the two of us pull up to my house. I get out, and I am freaking out and mortified. I don't know what's going to happen. The cop gets out, and to my surprise, I find out that him and my father are friends. The police officer begins to question my father, kind of asking, don't you know your daughter needs to have her license with her at all times? And my father explained that recently I had returned home from the park, and he had given me his keys to move his car, and he had not known that I had not gone into the house to get the keys to move it. The cop had just warned my father that next time I needed to make sure I had my license with me, and my father had agreed. My fear had lessened, but I was still confused as if the cop had missed whether or not I had gotten into a car accident. Thankfully, he just got in his car and took off. So I checked again to make sure my father's car was fine, and then my father apologized to me and told me he should have enforced me and reminded me that anytime I leave the house, I need to make sure I have my driver's license with me. That's just one crazy experience that I will never forget when I was 17 years old. It was really awful.